Holy moly, Ableton Push 3 is here. Okay, but what does it mean? Let's pick out the three headlines. This video isn't sponsored, but it is supported by all of those of you who've joined the Push Bible and the Push Playground. First off, there are two versions of Ableton Push 3 on sale at launch. Push 3 and Push 3 Standalone. Yep, you heard that right. Standalone. What's important to know before we go further is that the base model of Push 3 can later be upgraded to become Standalone. More on that in just a moment. Expressivity is number one. Ableton Push 3 now has full implementation of MPE, aka MIDI Polyphonic Expression. This means crazily, and I mean crazily expressive pads. We can now glide smoothly between notes, polyphonically, playing push more like a sort of stringed instrument. Secondly, we can slide our fingers up and down on each pad to add effects to every individual note we're playing. And again, this works polyphonically. This is wild and works with compatible Ableton Live instruments and devices, the list of which is getting longer, plugins and external hardware. Basically, Push's grid just became hyper expressive, each pad essentially its own mini XYZ Z controller. Meanwhile, I've launched an online course, which I'm really excited about, going into detail on how we can design expressive sounds for Push. MPE on Push is such an exciting feature and a hell of a lot of fun. But what's the headline here? Anyone using Push as an instrument just gained a really exciting new avenue for expression. Connectivity is headline number two. Both Push 3 models can become the central hub of our studio. The physical equivalent to how Ableton Live is the host and connector for so much software. Push is essentially now a sound card with various audio inputs and outputs. We can sample directly into Live via Push or into Push itself, albeit still in a limited fashion if we're only using Push, as well as connect our speakers and headphones. We can connect the rest of our studio setup via USB and 3.5mm MIDI, as well as CV, and add up to 16 audio inputs and outputs using ADAT. Using an ADAT expander allows us to connect this up with just a couple of cables with neat little lights on the end. What's the headline here? Push can now pull everything together in one place. Portability is number three. Unique to the Push 3 standalone configuration is that it has its own CPU, storage and battery, meaning we can run Ableton Live inside Push. This means we can realize the dream of standing up from our desk, unplugging Push, and then sitting down somewhere else. I had a 2-hour unplugged, except for the headphones, session on my couch the other day, and it was amazing. After that, we can throw Push in a backpack, go jam with friends, or get up on stage with a, hopefully, rock-solid setup. What's amazing and important to consider is that buying Push is now a little bit like buying a car, in that you can buy the standard non-standalone version of Push and then upgrade it later with a kit so that you too have Ableton Live running inside Push. This also means that upgrading the individual components such as the CPU, the storage and battery should be possible in the future. We're going to have to wait to hear from Ableton for more on that. So what does this mean? Well, Push 3 is designed to be as future-proof as possible, and this is a big deal. So these are the headlines: expressivity, connectivity, portability. I'll be going massively in depth on all these topics in the new Push Bible courses. Amen. See the link below for those, as they will be on an introductory sale for a short time. Ultimately, what matters is where do these features and changes fit into your workflow? Given that Push and what it can do is based entirely on what Ableton Live itself can do as software, so much still rides on the software itself and how this develops in the future. The focus on MPE the last years has been exciting and now makes a lot of sense now that we see Push 3 and we now have amazing new or updated instruments to use with it. I would, however, argue that now's the time for some big quality of life improvements to how Push interacts with Live itself, and I'm sure we have all of us our own lists, and I hope that Push 3 will drive this faster than ever before. That said, and speaking personally, I struggle to imagine making music without a Push, no matter which model. What's new this time is something arguably profound. Push 3 Standalone is an instrument as all pushes are, but it is now also a studio in a box. It has sounds, effects, inputs, outputs, all in one place. And if that is not the headline of these headlines, I don't know what is. Subscribe to catch my other detailed videos and blog posts. These will be linked below, and let me know your questions and thoughts on Ableton Push 3 so I can take them on in other videos as soon as possible. Finally, it's worth mentioning that Ableton sent me a pre-production unit to test out and give my feedback on, which I really appreciate, but they have no say on anything I'm sharing with you in this video. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day out there. Subscribe, hit that bell if you like, because there'll be a few videos coming soon, and see you in the next one.